Hello again, folks. Matty Weider has continued his descent into madness, and the sun continues to shine. Both things are completely expected, which is why there was no surprise in my voice whatsoever. At last, he's finally come up with what he thinks is a coherent picture of his lifetime under the thumb of an evil conspiracy. It's not, obviously, and I'm going to go over more logical alternatives to his proffered proof. Then, at the end, I'm going to make an extremely valid point that cuts straight to the heart of his nonsense. Matthew, there are two basic possibilities when it comes to your father's conflicting dates of birth. It was either an accident or it was intentional. Off the bat, I tend to think it was an accident because, quite simply, short of trying to get better life insurance rates, there was no logical reason for him to lie about his age. Even if he did, it doesn't actually go to prove you were kidnapped as a baby. You're basically trying to use an error in his date of birth as proof of kidnapping. Might as well try proving Bigfoot through crochet. The maiden name is simply something the trolls are using to troll you with.
Matty, you fed Grok a low-resolution, blurry photo of your brother and the profile picture from your main account. Why not try it again with high-resolution photos of your brother and family? But then again, we can't forget that Grok 2 didn't notice the photos of blood falls you had it analyze were color reversed. It could very well analyze this photo of the Estevez boys and think they weren't related either.
Having seen the pictures myself, I can attest that the Dunbar crew was right. You do look like your father.
Your mother didn't destroy the photo on purpose. It got ruined in a basement flood, as documented in your own so-called evidence.
So, from my memory, the picture with my prom date was on the counter, right? Out here in the living room, correct?
Yeah.
It was or wasn't?
I moved the pictures around all the
Where
time.
was it, though?
I put it back down in the basement.
So why would you put it in the basement to begin
Because that's
with?
where I have room for things.
Because that's where you have room for things, right? So you move one of the most important pictures into the basement, right?
Well,
And
what's important to you? You didn't seem to really care about it at all.
well, okay, so you moved it. So
Honestly,
you
you
moved.
did not.
Okay, so you moved it into the
Let's be honest
basement.
about that. You
All right.
didn't act like that when
Okay.
you were 50.
And what happened? What do you think happened to it when you moved it into the basement?
I think it got damaged. See, the flood came up very high.
Yeah, the flood came up very high. Okay, there's your little excuse, I guess. And you know what her name was?
I have no idea.
So you don't even remember, and you let the
didn't tell
picture
me
get
any of
destroyed.
that. No,
And
you
the
didn't.
picture
You
got
didn't talk to me
destroyed.
about anything.
Okay, either way, what happened is
And I can tell you that's a fact. Everybody knows that.
either way, what happened is you had that picture out in the living room for years, and then you moved it in the basement, and you pretty much let it get destroyed, or it got destroyed in the flood, from what you're saying.
That's exactly right.
The only picture was the girl, right?
For your version to be true, she'd have to be willing to accept the damage to other things and a costly repair bill. Why go to that trouble when she could have just thrown the photo away and said she lost it?
Financial throttling and stipend? Matthew, a stipend is something workers get so they can buy essentials for work. If mom still gives you money, that's called an allowance. Moreover, you've already flashed your silver on camera. How is more than $50K in silver considered throttling? As far as favoring your brother, that's a no-brainer. He apparently has a job. He apparently doesn't hassle her about bullshit nonsense. He apparently cares about her because how you treat her pisses him off. Which would you prefer in her shoes? The kid who's working, not bothering you, and doesn't like seeing his brother abuse you? Or the abusive, lazy, and entitled brother who makes your life hell?
Your mom is probably right here, too. You are going to hurt her, and that's why people are submitting tips about you. Let's face it, you've already begun the mental process of depersonalizing and justifying your horrible behavior toward her. Remember the other day when you said you never called her mom because you felt she was always terrible? Now you're trying to put her into the same category as your trolls, making it that much easier when and if the time comes for you to follow through with any violent plans you might be concocting.
It should go without saying, but obviously it doesn't for Maddie. Working for CPS does not prove trafficking, dunce. When CPS removes a child, it's not because they're looking for fresh meat to feed celebrities. It's because the child is in danger. Have they screwed up in the past? Sure, everybody does. Some more than others, obviously. But in general, CPS is in the business of saving children. They've certainly done more than you ever have.
This part is really weird, but also not unexpected. Matthew thinks all of his so-called friends were introduced into his life with the mission of humiliating and forcing him to drink, all in an effort to keep him from realizing the truth about Antarctica. From reality's perspective, he simply picked the wrong friends, and they were kind of mean to him, over and over, over and over, and over again.
Evidently, he's decided that he was somehow forced into choosing a job in South Korea. At some point, one of his friends introduced Matthew to a Korean guy who got our not hero into Korean food. This happened in circa 2010 when Matthew visited Phoenix, and 4 short years later, he was off to teach English in Korea, where he failed miserably, yet has now decided he was once again stifled by the damn network. This, despite admitting he got constant complaints from parents, students, and staff about his behavior. For our money, we'd be willing to bet Matthew was simply being the same unlikable, needy, self-centered jerk he was in high school.
Here he moans about people copying his life and trolling him. To Maddie, the thought that anyone else could have also been suckered into an obviously shitty job is just unthinkable. It also apparently hurts his feelings when people talk about his appearance.
Maddie, these so-called independence attempts are nothing of the sort. You lost thousands in a scam, which means you also had the independence to actually be scammed. You exercised independence and got burned. As far as DoorDash and Uber Eats go, I was under the impression you had your mom doing that for you. Either because you're lazy, incompetent, afraid the trolls will catch you at work, or a combination of these things. On the Antarctica front, I'm certainly not gatekeeping you. Hell, I've told you more than once that you're gonna need permits for what you want to do. Permits from multiple agencies, and that the gateway to getting where you want to go is the NSF. They run McMurdo. They issue permits. They are the main gatekeeper you need to worry about. Meanwhile, the trolls have videos of you pissing on their scientific work as fake. I certainly didn't tell you to do that. You told yourself to do it, and you must accept the consequences. The last part confirms something I've suspected since the beginning. You're just waiting around for Mom to die under the obviously unrealistic optimism that she'd leave you a lump sum. While there is a non-zero chance of that happening, it seems very, very minute. Considering the hell you're putting her through and some of her comments, I'd be willing to bet that if you get anything at all, it'll be administered through a trust. Most gold diggers at least kiss some ass, Matthew. You expect your ass to be kissed. That is just backward thinking, which actually tracks well, considering your history. I have totally been engaging with your so-called substance. Let me prove it by briefly summing up our positions. Your position is, you're the unwitting victim of a global network who has made it their mission to ensure you never gain independence, friends, or success. My position is, you're a highly entitled, conspiracy-clouded social train wreck who people genuinely dislike, and you simply can't handle the fact that you are your own biggest problem. The thing here is, while you think you've been accumulating a body of evidence to support your claims, all it's shown is how badly off course you are. You'll find that the vast majority of people who look at your supposed evidence either laugh or just stop engaging. Hasn't that already happened a bunch of times? My thought at this point is rather simple. It's actually a question. Why you? What talent, skill, or knowledge do you think you have that the network needs to suppress? Right away, Forget Antarctica. Nobody needs to actively prevent you from gaining access to an ASPA zone, and whatever flat earth nonsense you're trying to prove has already been debunked. Antarctica has been flown across, proving it's just another island continent, not some ice wall that encircles the world. If that is the light you think the network is suppressing, I can promise, nothing awaits you in Antarctica but cold death. South of Taylor Valley is ice. Lots and lots of ice for thousands of miles. From what I can tell, you offer nothing that would change the world as we know it. Therefore, the idea that such a network could be conspiring to keep you at home is simply ridiculous.